Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Crypto Gorilla video. Today I'm going to show you how I'm earning between $400 and $500 per day by staking funds into liquidity pools on Blackhole, which is a brand new DEX launched by Elio Trades built on Avalanche. However, you can apply this knowledge to any similar platform on any chain. Now, as usual, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. But one thing to consider is this is not something you can just farm for free. I put my own money in order to earn these emissions. So if you have very little liquid capital to play with, this isn't something I would consider doing. So jumping into the platform on the portfolio page, you could see that I have allocated roughly $19,000 into a pool. It's gone down a little bit now because the market has been crashing a little bit. However, in less than 48 hours, it's been roughly 36 to 38 hours since I entered these pools, I have made 665 black tokens in yield, which the token is currently trading at $1.21. Meaning for my $19,000, I've earned roughly $400 per day. Now, of course, the price of the black token goes up and down, meaning the value of my emissions are also going to go up and down. However, you can claim these emissions as they accrue, so you're easily able to lock in your profits or your emissions on the spot. So if you're ready to get started, step one, of course, is always to connect your wallet, and then you're going to need some avax tokens because this is built on Avalanche, and avax is available on literally every centralized exchange. You can also get it by doing a cross-chain swap on OpenSea. So I'll leave links to exchanges and OpenSea in the description down below. But once you are ready, you can go over to the liquidity page, and this is where we're going to pick a pool to participate in. Now, there are three factors that determine which pool I select. The first of which is the APR, so how much I'm earning. The second is the token pair. And the third is how much time I want to spend managing this. So let's run through all three of those, and then I'll show you a live example of me entering a pool. So the first one, APR, this is how much the pool is going to pay you in rewards or emissions. And it's calculated on a 1 year time frame. So when you see 993%, that is 993% over 1 year. However, like we said, you're able to claim these rewards as they accrue. Now, some of these rewards are extremely high. Like if you look at this pool, it's at 3,355%, meaning in a fantasy world where this holds steady for an entire year, if you put in $1,000, you would earn $33,500. Now, just because you see 3,300% on a pool, it doesn't mean you automatically get it. That's going to be determined on the range that you're willing to set. So if I want to do a wide range, I'm getting 335%. If I do a narrow range, I get more. And if I do a custom range and really set it very small, here you can see that's where I'm getting the maximum return on my money. But this is going to require a lot of management, which we'll cover in a couple of seconds. Now, the second factor when picking a liquidity pool is going to be the token pair. And we have a few options here. One of them is going to be to pick a stable pool. So it's either going to be USDC to USDT, so two stable coins. You can also go for avax to wrapped avax, essentially tokens that you imagine are always going to stay pegged to each other, which in theory is very safe. It's low maintenance. However, it pays very little APR. I basically only do this on platforms where I'm trying to farm an airdrop, like on prjtx, where I'm trying to farm the hyperliquid airdrop. You can see I did hype to K hype, and the payment is 0.26%. So I'm literally earning pennies per day despite having put a couple of $1,000s on this platform. And I'm fine with that because on this platform, my goal is to get an airdrop. However, on Blackhole, my goal, since there's no airdrop that I'm aware of, my goal here is to earn the highest APR as possible, earn the most fees as possible, which leaves us with two other options. Either doing a volatile token for a stable coin like avax to USDC, or doing a token pair of two volatile tokens like Bitcoin to avax or Super to Blackhole or whatever token you pick. There's meme coins on here as well. Now, personally, I only pick tokens I believe in. So avax, Bitcoin, Super, Blackhole, as opposed to picking like the latest meme coin. And that's because you have to purchase these tokens in order to stake them. So if the token goes to zero, that's really going to suck. Now, even if you pick a really strong coin, you need to be aware of something that's on all of these DeFi platforms, which is impermanent loss. And And to explain this, we're gonna just pick a pair. So let's just pick the AVAX and USDC pair. Let's pretend I chose this pool and I wanna allocate $500 of each. So I need to put in $500 of AVAX and $500 of USDC. The price of AVAX is constantly changing. However, the pool wants to keep its ratio. So let's say I went for a 50-50 split, so 500-500. As AVAX goes up or down in price, the pool wants to maintain that 50-50 split. So if overnight AVAX goes from $25 to $50, it 2x's, my pool can't have $1,000 of AVAX and only $500 of USDC, because then it's no longer a 50-50 ratio. So as AVAX goes up in price, the pool is going to automatically readjust, meaning I'm going to lose AVAX tokens and gain USDC until the values match each other. Now, this can cause you to miss out on profits, because if you just held your AVAX, you would go from $500 to $1,000. But since it was selling AVAX on the way up, now you're not going to have that $1,000 in AVAX. You're going to have a little bit less in AVAX and USDC. And this is what we call impermanent loss. Now, the same thing happens when AVAX goes down in value. You are actually getting more AVAX because it's rebalancing it to have a 50-50 ratio. And while it might sound nice to be accumulating more AVAX, if you have a random meme coin that's headed straight to zero, you do not want to be stacking that coin as it's going down in value. So I feel the best way to go about this without feeling FOMO that you're losing AVAX or Bitcoin or whatever token you lost as the token price is going up is to pick two tokens you're bullish on. So Super and Blackhole, or Bitcoin and AVAX, whatever the pair is, two tokens that you think are going to go up in this cycle. Pick a solid APR. That way the fees are at least making up for the money you're potentially losing as the token is going up in value. And third, never use funds that you planned on holding long term. If you have 100 AVAX and that was your long-term bag, like you wanted to hold it till the end of the cycle, do not use those funds. Ideally, you're doing like I did. You are using stable coins that were just sitting there anyways. You are buying tokens that you're bullish on, and then you're using those. So let's say AVAX goes to the moon. I'm not upset that I missed out on those profits because I'm earning a ton of fees and I still hold my long-term bag of AVAX. So I know that was a little long, but the second factor was the token pair that you're picking and a little lesson on impermanent loss. And then the third factor that affects which pool I'm going to pick is going to be how much work I want to put in, because here we have the option of doing a basic pool, which is kind of just you set it and forget it. It manages it for you, or a concentrated pool where I have to set a range like we saw earlier where it's going to affect the APR. But let's say I chose a narrow range. If the price of USDC goes below $22.92, or if it goes above $24.83 based on the current price, right? This is going to constantly change at the time that I put into the pool. If it breaks those ranges, I am no longer earning any fees in this pool until the price comes back into this range, or have to manually go unstake, withdraw my tokens, rebuy some AVAX or whatever token you chose, Bitcoin, Super, Ket meme coin, whatever, and then redeposit and restake into the pool. So the concentrated option requires you to actually pay attention to what you're doing every single day. When the market is mooning or tanking, like you have to go readjust. Whereas the basic version, you kind of just set it, forget it, and just collect your fees, which is exactly what I did for the Super Blackhole pool. So now that we understand those concepts, and if you didn't, by all means, leave me questions in the comment section down below. I will do my best to answer them as fast as possible. Even if it's been 8 months since I posted this video, I read every single comment. But now let's do A to Z, the process of getting tokens, putting them to a pool, withdrawing, and all that. So step one, like we said, we got to pick a pool. For this example, I'm going to do the Bitcoin AVAX pool. I think there's both one on basic and concentrated. So let's just do a little bit of both. So now I need some wrapped AVAX as well as some Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and do that on the platform. Here, I believe I already have some wrapped AVAX. Yes, I do. So I'm just going to go ahead and buy some Bitcoin, since that's the other token we need. Let's just put, I don't know, 10. It might ask you to approve. I've already approved, so I can just go ahead. I'm going to do swap AVAX for Bitcoin. And I didn't mention it, but you could adjust your slippage. So feel free to put whatever percentage. I should have done 1%, not 5. Feel free to play around with your slippage, but now I have my tokens. So we can go back to liquidity. We can select, let's start off with the basic pool. We can select it. I'm going to put in 0.00, let's put 0.5 just so I have some left. And it's going to tell me automatically how many AVAX or wrapped AVAX tokens I need. Then we're going to do allow Bitcoin. Next, we do allow wrapped AVAX. Then we do add liquidity. And finally, once that's all gone through, we are going to stake our deposit, which once again, we have to allow it. And finally, we stake it. So a lot of transactions, but if you were doing this on a platform like prjtx for hyperliquid, hopefully that's going to count towards a future airdrop. So now it should have gone through. Let's go to our portfolio and voila, you can see right here under liquidity positions, I now have my position in the Bitcoin to wrapped AVAX pool. It tells me exactly how much I have. I like to screenshot this because I want to see over time how my stake tokens have changed. Because like we said, as prices go up and down, right, Bitcoin might go up faster than AVAX or vice versa. So these amounts are going to change. But if we go down, you can see I've already started earning black tokens and it's just going to build up over time. So now that I've started earning tokens, if I want to claim my rewards, I would just go to here, click claim, sign in the wallet. And just to show you right now, I have 280, boom, you saw it live switch. So now if I go back over, I don't know why the value is not updating, but it just went from like 200 and something tokens to the tokens that I claimed. And same thing tomorrow, even tonight, I can come back and claim again. So we did a basic pool. Let's go ahead and do a concentrated pool. Again, I'm going to pick Bitcoin to wrapped AVAX, but feel free to use whatever pool you want. And now we need to select a range. So in the previous example I showed you, it was AVAX to USDC, so a stable coin. So it was pricing it for me in AVAX. It was saying, hey, if it goes below, I think it was $22.9 and above 24.8 or whatever it was, you're going to break the range. In this case, because it's two volatile tokens, so Bitcoin to AVAX, rather than a fixed price, I'm going to get a value of AVAX on the top side and bottom side of how much AVAX it costs to buy one Bitcoin. So let's go ahead and select a range. If you want to be more risky, you can even do custom like we saw, but you're going to have to manage this a lot because you're going to have to come back and check how much AVAX does it cost to get a Bitcoin and so on. So personally, I like to go for a wider range, even though you do get less of an APR, but let's just pick common here just for the example. It's a pretty big range. As long as the market isn't crazy volatile and like Bitcoin doesn't full send without AVAX going up or vice versa, we should be fine. We should continue to earn fees. So it's the same process. I'm just going to put in an amount, which I don't have this much. I need to add another zero. There we go. It's going to tell me how much AVAX I need, and I would run through it again, clicking allow, and then finally staking. So now that it's done, if we go back, you can see I have a second pool. It's called a concentrated pool. That's how you determine the two. And if we go down, I once again have already started earning emissions, and same place. This is where you claim it. This is where you do everything. Now let's pretend I do not want to stake anymore. You would come and click on unstake right here. So the first step is going to be to unstake. And then after that, we're going to have to withdraw. So I just unstaked this pool. Let's just go back to portfolio because it's the easiest place. Then we would click withdraw. If you want to do less than 100%, you could have used this slider. I'm just going to pull it all out because I'm a all in or all out kind of guy. And voila, the pool is closed. If we go back to portfolio, it is no longer there. And if we go to swap to check our tokens, let's just write Bitcoin. We are now back to 0.00152 Bitcoin. So that's pretty much it for how these platforms work. Like I said, if you chose a concentrated pool, you are going to have to keep an eye on it to make sure you didn't breach that range. I know I'm probably also going to get questions on like, how do you pick a range? It's really what you're comfortable with and what APR you want to get as a return, right? Go wide, you just gotta, it's really based on the price. You can also do custom and just set the range you want. It doesn't matter. There's no like correct answer for this kind of stuff. It's really what you're comfortable with and how much time do you have to come and manage this. Other than that, on the platform, we have things like locks, votes where you can go vote, and then incentives. I'm personally not touching any of this stuff for the time being. I'm really just doing the liquidity pools because the APRs are so good. In the future, maybe I'll do locks if I see there's really good rewards. However, you have to lock up black tokens for a specific amount of time or forever So I'm really not interested in that. I just want to do the APRs where I can pull my money out whenever I want and not have to think about it. So maybe in the future, once these APRs go down, because this is not going to last forever, these are changing multiple times every single day. If we go to the super pool, like I believe last week this was at 1200. When I did this 2 days ago, it was at 880 and it's currently at 760. So as more people join the platform, these are going to go down, but it's not down only. I've also seen it go down to close to 700 and then it went back to 880. So these are constantly moving up and down. You just want to keep an eye on it to make sure you're still getting a good amount of rewards. Now, outside of that, on this platform, there was also an airdrop. I covered it in multiple videos depending on the tokens you were holding and staking. So if you had staked super, you have an airdrop, and a ton of other communities as well as NFTs. So definitely worth checking out this page. Maybe you have some free black tokens, in which case, you know, maybe you want to use those to lock since it's free money anyways. But that pretty much wraps up this video. Like I said, I'm going to keep doing this until the APRs go down, at which point I'm just going to look for another platform, because I've actually really been enjoying earning by doing this with money that was just sitting there earning me nothing, especially if I can earn with some of these stable pools. Like I'm not going to get 63% because I'm not going to go crazy with the customization. But if I do a narrow pool, it's still paying me 16%. Versus just sitting in my wallet, it's doing absolutely nothing. So I'm definitely going to continue checking out these platforms and find maybe there's another platform that I trust that has a bigger payout for stablecoins. However, considering the backers of this platform are Elio, Alex Becker, and Superverse, like I trust this platform a lot. So for the time being, I'm going to keep playing on here, keep playing on prjtx, because like I said, you can earn an airdrop for this. So make sure you use my referral link in the description down below and you'll get a 10% boost. But outside of that, that does it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. If you did, leave me a big thumbs up. If you need help with anything, join my Discord and just tag me. I'm literally online every single day, or just leave me a comment down below and I will make sure to answer you. Again, even if it's been 1 year, I will answer you. If you appreciate these videos, would you kindly hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell. Thank you for watching another Crypto Gorilla video. Peace.